Alright, here we go. Hello and welcome to DK Vine Done Slow. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. Oh my god, I love that intro. I love that they reused the wireframe animation for the Rareware logo from Donkey Kong Country for Donkey Kong Country 2, but gave it that new, like, bombastic score behind it. It was just like... It set the tone immediately that what you were getting was familiar, but this wasn't just going to be a simple retread of where we had been before. This wasn't Donkey Kong Country The Lost Levels, you know, that this was something new. And this title screen, oh, well, we're losing a title screen because they spent too much time talking. Let me go back. There we go. Well, it won't even let me look at the title screen now. Anyway, the title screen was animated at E3 95. They had to get rid of the opening treasure chest, unfortunately. But it's still a beautiful scene. I like how it doesn't say Donkey Kong Country 2 on there. It's just Diddy's Conquest. I just like the idea that we're just going to refer to it by its subtitle on the title screen. Like, you know what you're playing. You know you're playing Donkey Kong Country 2. You don't need to be told you're playing Donkey Kong Country 2. Besides, the important thing is Diddy's Conquest. Even the file select here is lovely. I like that it's a treasure map, and it, you know, sets the tone. There's Donkey Kong Island, there's Crocodile Isle, the treasure is Donkey Kong in K. Rool's Keep. And I do want to point out, I'll point it out when we actually get into the game here, about something about Donkey Kong Island that's a bit off. And you see I'm clearly playing, well, I'm playing this on the Nintendo Switch Online, but this is the North American, or the Americas version of Donkey Kong Country 2, and we've got the NTSC SNES controllers there with the weird Good and Plenty colored buttons that are not the standard worldwide. But part of me was wondering if the reason this game was delayed in the Americas until the first week of December 95 was because they had to go through and change all of the Super Nintendo controllers that appear in the game to the America standard. I recently had that confirmed to me that no, that was not the case. So that was one theory I was able to say goodbye to. Hello to everybody in the live stream. I will be trying to check in as I play. Got Andre, Ray Day, Steve from off of Rare Gamer, as well as Jeffrin. Make sure to switch on stereo sound. I prefer my my sound in mono. It's the Beatles fan in me, but I feel like mono is just a pure audio experience. All right, we're gonna do one player. Getting used to the Switch Pro controller again. So originally at E3 95, when you first entered the map screen, it started at the top of Crocodile Isle and it scrolled down until you got to Gangplank Galleon. However, that's another alteration, a little scale back they had to do before the game actually launched. Immediately you're just hit with that gloom, the oppressiveness of Crocodile Isle. A lot of that is conveyed with David Wise's music here, but it just immediately sets the tone. This is not Donkey Kong Country. You are not on friendly territory right now, and just the sight of like the zingers flying around and the smoke coming from Crocodile Cauldron, the fog around Gloomy Gulch. Is a lot more animated than the static map screens of Donkey Kong Country. And of course, Gangplank Galleon. Oh man, I'm just gonna spend all the time talking about the map screens. Jesus. Gangplank Galleon, infamously was the boss fight of Donkey Kong Country, and it was a bit deflating because you think you're going to have this whole pirate ship world, and it's just the final boss fight. It's a bit confusing when you first play the game because you go to Gangplank Galleon, and then it just immediately launches you into the K. Rool fight, and you're like, oh, I guess I'm at the end of the game. I thought there was more. And I love that they make good on that desire to want to play on Gangplank Galleon as a full world by making it a full world, the very first world of Donkey Kong Country 2. Also, Donkey Kong Land had a few stages set on the Gangplank Galleon as well. So we'd already, those of us who had, followed the series from the start and, bought in on Donkey Kong Land, we'd been through all of this already, at least as far as like getting a taste of Gangplank Galleon. But these are the most iconic Gangplank Galleon stages by far. Two things I want to point out: Donkey Kong Island in the background. There's a bit of discontinuity there because that is the early version of the islands that they altered before the game's release. You can see the smokestacks of Cremcroc Industries incorporated in the background, sort of behind Vine Valley, going up to Gorilla Glacier. And Gorilla Glacier has like a couple extra peaks there. And I just ascribe that to, I guess, the swamp gas from Cranky is distorting your image of Donkey Kong Island there. It's refracting the smokestacks. I don't know, but you just squint and try to ignore it. Donkey Kong Island is remarkably consistent in its geography and has been for several years. It's you get minor blemishes like that from time to time, and it's fine. It's by and large, it's not like a Peach's Castle situation where it's just whatever goes, depending on the game. Even the retro studio games have kept Donkey Kong Island's geography consistent. The only thing you just have to accept is the face is no longer there. And K. Rool's Final Smash and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think, did a lot to help plug that hole in continuity. He shot it off in like 2009. And that's what we're reliving every time we get launched into K. Rool's Final Smash. Also, check out the pennant up flying, the flag flying on top of not the crow's nest, but the actual main crow's nest on the Gangplank Galleon in the middle there. That suggests that K. Rool is, I think, a grade 4 Reaper in the Reapers Alliance, which is the faction, the nefarious faction in Sea of Thieves. Whenever you hit grade 4 in their emissary, you get a flag that looks like that. And whether K. Rool is actually affiliated with the Reapers, because the Reapers probably don't exist at this point in the timeline in 1995, but he might have found a Reaper's emissary flag, and he's like from antiquity, and he's rocking it right there. So again, stuff that's not planned, not ever planned. Donkey Kong and the Donkey Kong universe has the most remarkable continuity because it is all accidental, but things just line up year after year by virtue of, the same people being involved. Greg Mayles designed this game. He also designed Sea of Thieves, and so on and so forth. So, yes. Jeff Friend says K. Rool is a sweaty PvPer confirmed. So let's launch into it. Okay. And immediately, let me get used to this Pro Controller here. Immediately, like, the water just pops in the background. This, I can't stress enough how impressive this water was in 1995 on your Super Nintendo. Never seen anything like it. You could do... There is a cheat here where you can get 75 Creme coins from the start by jumping over these bananas, going back into the captain's cabin. Not going to do that. We're doing this right. No cheats here today. So the captain's cabin, this is the equivalent of Donkey Kong's treehouse in Donkey Kong Country Uno. real quick, there's so many background details here, and I wish we could have a full, like, unscaled down, unpixelated render of this scenery, but you've got a portrait of King K. Rool in the background there. You've got some enormous cutlass on the floor there. You've got a map. We'll have a better look at those maps in the captain's cabin in Creme Key, but they've got maps there. I would love to get a look on those maps and see like where in the rare archipelago that might represent. And then you got the note. I've kidnapped that lumbering fool Donkey Kong, and you will never see him again. Har har, har har. Captain K. Rool. The Diddy balloons. Brand new for this game. They are just, the balloons from Donkey Kong Country, except instead of Donkey Kong's head, they are Diddy Kong's head. Diddy Kong balloons appear the most out of the original 6 games. They appeared in this game, in Donkey Kong Land 2, and bizarrely in Donkey Kong Land 3. Actually, well, I take that back. The Donkey Kong head balloons do appear in Swanky's bonus Bonanza, so they're tied as far as 3 appearances apiece, but the Diddy balloons are the most interactable in that you actually collect them in Donkey Kong Land 3. All right. Neeks, they are the shiprats of the Kremlin's pirate fleet. They are the equivalent of naughties in this game. And there is Dixie. Diddy's, Diddy is Donkey Kong's sidekick, and Dixie serves kind of the same function in this game. She's the exciting new character, but the focus isn't really on her in this game, as it is in Donkey Kong Country 3. But Dixie isn't Diddy's sidekick, just his partner, his girlfriend. Alright, trying to get... It's like, okay, it says A, but what does it really mean? Oh, I didn't hit them both at the same time. It's a shame. Clomps are critters. This is something that's not really known by as many people as you would think. Clomps are critters with peg legs. And most of the main Kremlings from Donkey Kong Country are back in this game, just with new piratey monikers. Clobber's new. Clobber, the barrel-hiding Kremling, is new. The bonus stages are a lot more unified, what you have to do. You're not just going into rooms this time. You're actually, well, gotta get that banana coin. You actually have an objective. 3 objectives. And this one is the most basic, find the token. And you collect Krem coins in most bonus stages now. And they all serve the end game. 75 in all. And there's Rambi. Rambi is back. Rambi, the first animal buddy in Donkey Kong Country, also the first animal buddy in DKC 2. I like the idea that the Kongs brought some of their animal buddies on this adventure, but not all of them. And then the original animal buddies and Radley all have new moves. They have supercharges, and this is Rambi's. You hold down the button, and he does this with his foot, and then you let go, and he launches. And you can break open secret passages this way, but there aren't as many secret passage bonus areas as there were in Country or Land 1. Destroy them all. I love that render, by the way. Just them tearing apart a Clomp. Like, physically, like, ripping its limbs out. The imagination, like, makes that a lot more gruesome than it actually depicted. Crates are new. Like, instead of just barrels, now we have crates. And the best collectible, bar none, in any video game, are the hero coins. Most people know them as DK coins, but they are video game hero coins. Damn it. And then we have the no animal signs for the first time. Okay, so each Donkey Kong Country game, at least, up through returns has a new exit. And this one is the first one that utilizes prizes, sort of like Retro's prize barrels, end of level targets. If you have to hit it high enough, though. It's like, you know, a carnival test of strength. What do I want the most? Banana coins are probably my most lucrative commodity right now. So I'll wait until after the banana bunches. Nah, I screwed it up. Oh my god, I'm nervous. I'm nervous after having technical difficulties for 15 to 20 minutes before we started here. Alright. Got it. And, you know, people laugh about this, the most 90s part of the game, where Diddy busts out the boombox and puts on sunglasses and makes sure to turn his hat on backwards, but it's fine. It was the 90s, you know, deal with it. Pirate Panic now is complete, and you've got the exclamation mark to tell you that you've got all the bonus stages. Usually there's only 2 per stage. It's a lot simpler than Donkey Kong Country, where in Donkey Kong Country, you know, you could have like 7 bonus areas in a stage, or 0. You pretty much know what you're going to get here, especially with the Creme coins, because you have to collect a certain amount. And then the little DK symbol to indicate that you've got the hero coin. So got everything there. Yeah, so Main Brace Mayhem is the first rigging stage. And these are pretty implausible when you really stop and think about what this is implying as far as the length of the Gangplank Galleon, I guess. But, no, I don't want to take a capture. I want to switch. How do I switch to Dixie? No. All right, Switch, help me out here. There we go. God, I didn't buy the Super Nintendo controller like I did the N64 controller. I'm starting to regret it. Anyway, Dixie climbs slower than Diddy. It's one of the areas where, you know, they try to make it fair. Dixie is kind of OP, as the kids would say, in that she has the helicopter twirl. It makes her a slightly easier character to control in a lot of situations. But in the cases of swimming and climbing, Diddy is superior, which I think is a fair trade-off. All right. The whole aesthetic of the rigging stages, though, it's one of my favorite. Jib Jig is one of my favorite, one of the most underrated Donkey Kong Country 2 songs. I love how romantic it is. I think it captures so much of the spirit of the game. The whole swashbuckling, kids going on a pirate adventure vibe, you know. Rare likes to go on and on about Goonies and how they wanted to establish the same feeling of the Goonies in Sea of Thieves, but I feel like Donkey Kong Country 2, being that it's about kids going on a pirate adventure, actually captures it a little bit better if you're specifically trying to, you know, ape the Goonies. Clingers are a new Kremling type. They slide up and down ropes and chains and what have you. And they make a really fun noise, too. Whee! They're sort of similar to the way Slippas were repurposed in Donkey Kong Land. Slippas would slide down ropes on the Gangplank Galleon. Clingers are a lot less aggravating than the Slippas were. And the thing about the rigging stages is you have to check every nook and cranny and possible corner where they might be hiding secrets. Some of them are obvious. Kremling Death Noise is also right up there as far as best video game sound effects. See, I also should point out the Kong letters are different in this game. They're spinning, and they're no longer as shiny, sparkly as they used to be. This would become the standard, though, going forward through the Rare era. Up through the Game Boy Advance remakes, they would repurpose them. So I've got a cannonball here. You carry the cannonball over to a cannon, you load it, and then it launches you out. Which, you know, you think you could just... If it's ready to fire, you think you just launch yourself, but... I guess you need the little oomph. Alright, so this is a destroy them all. This is the first more complex destroy them all. You're given several weapons. You're supposed to reuse the cannonball. It's possible to, like, lose it if you have it go down a pit, but you can still take out the clingers manually. And then, of course, the barrels, I think, regenerate. Cramp coin spawns in the middle. I could just run... If you run into a clinger, their head, they will be defeated, but you have to get the timing just right. Alright, and I collect the stars. This is our first collect the stars. Like I said, Diddy would be the better climber here, but this is early game. It doesn't really matter. I like using Dixie in Main Brace Mayhem for some reason. I think it's just because it's the second level, so let Dixie show off her tricks a little bit more. I associate her with the sky anyway, and this is a very cloudy level. And then you can see here, they hid the hero coin at the very end. And I don't know what prize I'm going to get, so this is just a crapshoot. Not bad. There are worse ones. Alright, we got Cranky. Let's go see Cranky in the Monkey Museum. Come and say hello to your old grandpappy Cranky. I'm back by popular demand to offer you my wealth of gameplay and wisdom for this unnecessary sequel. I knew you'd be back. Can't finish this ridiculous quest without my help, can you? Well, actually, this is my first visit, Cranky, so I haven't been back yet. But because you have randomized dialogue. Need more help, do we? Pa, if I tell you much more, I might as well play the game for you. Cranky is very vicious in this game, much more vicious than he was in Donkey Kong Country. Also, you see a lot of references to them referring to Donkey as Donkey. This whole notion of calling him DK, which I think the cartoon popularized more, wasn't really in play here. He was Donkey. I still refer to him as Donkey. Except if I'm making a tweet and I have to keep my characters down, then I might call him DK, but I like Donkey. Now, real quick, a lot of you know this already if you're watching this, but, you know, there's so many Easter eggs in the Monkey Museum. The biggest one is the presence of Winky. So Winky is not in the game as a playable animal buddy. It is supposed to be Winky, like, in the flesh. Like, he's not supposed to be stuffed or mounted. It's not a Winky statue. It is Winky in a terrarium. And, you know, it's just because we have a static rendered background here. It's not really conveyed, but they rectified that a bit in the Game Boy Advance version. I like this idea. This is the first inkling we get of Cranky being someone who will exploit the animal buddies for profit. We see it a lot more in the Game Boy Advance version, of course, with Espresso Racing, but it's also evident in Donkey Kong Country Returns with Squawks. Speaking of Espresso, that golden token to the right of Winky, it's really hard to make out, especially like sort of head on like it is, but that is supposed to be an Espresso token from Donkey Kong Country. The last reference to the animal buddy tokens that they scrap for this game, for good reason. They weren't fun to play after a while, but got a Killer Instinct machine and a poster that's coming off the wall of Chief Thunder from Killer Instinct. And a lot of people say, well, does that mean Killer Instinct is just a fictional video game in the world of Donkey Kong? Well, everything is a video game in the world of Donkey Kong. Need I remind you that the Kongs themselves know they're in a video game, as do Banjo and Kazooie, as does Conker, and there is an in-universe rationale behind that, with Rare having established that they send an explorer to the Rare Archipelago. I think it's Horace St. James Go Lightly. I always mix the order of his names up. But he observes the stuff in the Rare Archipelago and reports back to Rare, and they make video games out of them. Now, whether you question, are the games I'm playing just fictionalized accounts of real events, or are the games themselves real events, and in universe there are even more dramatic video game versions that we do not see? I think that's left up to the interpretation of the viewer or the player, you know. But anyway, so Killer Instinct can exist within the world of Donkey Kong as real events, future and past, but there is a video game Killer Instinct as well. And then we've got some other stuff, Funky Surfboard, which is just one of Funky's surfboards from the original game. In this game, it will resurface. In the foreground, you see DK barrels and an upturned minecart from the first game. You know, Rare logos and the decapitated head of a Cruncha from which we haven't even met properly in game yet. All right, let's just read these real quick. Try using your team throw at the start. Having these tips not just be doled out randomly fixed a lot of the problems with Cranky in the first game. And he usually speaks in riddles, parables, and puns. A lot of jump for joy, stuff like that. I'll go ahead, buy one. Yeah. Oh, I don't have enough banana coins to buy all of them, though. Ain't guarding that huge stack of barrels for nothing. What's with your grammar, Cranky? I'll have to come back to buy them all. Steve says why I tune into DK Vine streams. Hyle's DKC2/Killer Instinct Existential Crisis. It's not a crisis, Steve. Like, this is something that Viva Pinata helpfully established, that there are ways to have the metatextual, these are all video games, exist concurrently with, but the characters themselves are real and aren't just fourth wall breaking maniacs. You can have your cake and eat it too, and both interpretations can stand side by side, which I love. Alright, Gangplank Galley, the third level. And also my introduction to the word galley, because it's amazing the knowledge one gets, especially in reference to nautical terms, that you get from Rare games. Donkey Kong Country 2 really helped give me a formal education in a lot of nautical terms that Sea of Thieves has kind of helped complete. Alright. Also, the sun in the background there, delightful. That will be setting throughout the... Oh, this is one of our first break the treasure chest. One of them has the right thing in it. There's a warp barrel up there. I don't want to take the warp barrels, though. I want to do this the proper way and get all the secrets. But not those secrets. The secrets that actually count towards completion. Okay, so we have the kaboings there. Oh, no. Which, I like that those are critters that lost both of their legs, and they have pogo sticks. Just such a stupid thing. And then, of course, the question is, did they really lose their legs, like in Donkey Kong Country or Donkey Kong Land, or did K. Rool cut those legs off so they could be, you know, better pirates? My interpretation has always been the latter, but that's kind of deranged even for K. Rool. This is confusing when you think about it, because there are barrel stacks that you climb, but they're not barrels that you can throw or interact with. Barrels upon barrels. Little touches there, like look, the little buckets, the little pails in the background there that they use to, I guess, bail. Since there's a massive breach in the Gangplank Galleon, you have a lot of buckets because everybody needs to help get that water out. We're taking on water. It's up to the mid deck. And there's a cruncha. Those are crushas. Well, let me just show you really quick. So the crushas, they changed them because there is no Donkey Kong anymore. There is no Donkey Kong that can take them out. These are two little monkeys, so they are basically invulnerable to most of your attacks. Just jumping on them doesn't work, and jumping on them once will just make them angry, turn them into Red Hulk there. But you can't take them out like that. You just have to get creative. Thankfully, the team throw gives Diddy and Dixie more strength that they would lack due to the absence of a gorilla in their party. Get a little slag always right here. It's fine. It's fine. It's not the game's fault. It's just the hardware couldn't support Rare's vision, which was flawless. Oh, and an invincibility barrel. I remember being a little put off by this. This was one aspect I was put off with, because I've always felt invincibility, you know, power stars, or excuse me, starmen from Super Mario was cheap. I liked that there's no invincibility in Donkey Kong Country. No, Donkey and Diddy had to do it without the privilege of twinkly energy surrounding their bodies. And then this made me look like a fool a year later. They don't utilize it much, though. Really, I'm supposed to take it all the way over to this bit. But it lasts longer than I remembered. But still, if you got a Kong, you don't really need invincibility. But it'll help. You know, you don't want to fall off the barrels, though, either. Alright. Look at that sunset. And it turns the water into some sort of, like, Mountain Dew color. It's a pretty game. I didn't get the hero coin, did I? That's embarrassing. I'll have to go back. Can't believe well, let me save. Let's visit Wrinkly really quick before I go back and get that hero coin. So Wrinkly Kong, alive and well at this point in the timeline. This is her introduction. She has been on Crocodile Isle teaching Kremlings. A lot of people think like she's a bad teacher because look at those exams up there, or that she wrote those. No, the notion is that Wrinkly is teaching Kremlings. It's like a Kong outreach program. Like, let me help educate the Kremlings, since the Kremlings have no formal educational system. There is no public school on Crocodile Isle. So this is Wrinkly, you know, before things went so south with K. Rool. She was leading this outreach on Crocodile Isle when Kong-Kremling relations were a little bit more fraught, but not openly hostile. So the Kremlings don't want to engage as far as education goes, or they're not. Some of them aren't willing to learn, and that's the idea. So saving is not free in a game, except for the first time in every world but the Flying Croc. And you got the little counter there to let you know. Got 7 Krem coins, but only 2 hero coins. I can't believe I screwed that up. And then she also offers advice, tips like Cranky. We'll go through this all eventually. I'm not going to bore you right now. Also, just want to point out, there is no Kong College on the Gangplank Galleon. There is one on the rocks here on the shoreline of Crocodile Isle. And I think the Game Boy Advance version established that what we're seeing is actually an optical illusion. There is no monkey museum on the Gangplank Galleon. It's on the rocks of Crocodile Isle, but we're just facing the wrong orientation here. The Game Boy Advance remake retconned quite a bit, actually. It's fine. I think I know where here. I think it was these hooks that I was examining up here, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go up to the warp barrel. And then, yeah. Had to get over. It wouldn't let me tag out. Yeah, there it is. And that's, of course, the famous moose-headed Dixie. When she's hanging on a hook, and Diddy is behind her. Diddy, of course, hangs by his tail, so he's hanging upside down, while Dixie quite painfully hangs from her hair. And that creates the optical illusion of moose-headed Dixie, which is almost like a Mario power-up that never was, right? A Mario power-up where he would have moose antlers. I would like to see moose antlered Mario. That would be a great variant of Mario Kart Tour. I would spend $40 trying to get that. Oh, Jeffrin asks, where's Diddy's face? In Dixie's asshole. You gotta push it to the right to get those things. So yes, this is our first ship hole level and our first underwater level of the game, and this gives you a little glimpse about how they're gonna do it. There is no just underwater level where you're underwater at all times. No, you are actually part land or part traversing on foot, and then part swimming. Flotsams, this is not their debut. Flotsams actually debuted in Donkey Kong Land as the boss Wild Sting. I think the model is slightly different. I talked with Paul Makchek about this a week or two ago on Twitter, and he said he couldn't remember if there was any like dialogue with the DKC2 team as far as, you know, hey, you got a Stingray baddie, I might use that as a boss in Donkey Kong Land. He couldn't remember. So it's kind of a mystery if there is any give or take there, but Wild Sting is a flotsam. Lockjaw Saga, one of the great David Wise tracks, and a little overplayed thanks to I don't want warp barrels. I'm trying to avoid. I got the warp barrel, damn it. Well, this is a warp barrel. I'll have to go back now. I was like, I gotta avoid the warp barrel. The warp barrel's up there, and I was wrong. The warp barrel is right there. Well, now you saw a warp barrel. That's what it is. That's what I've been trying to avoid. It's surprisingly hard to avoid warp barrels when you're like, I want to explore every crevice of the game. Oh no, you're gonna run into a warp barrel the first 2 worlds. Let's go back. Let's do this right. Anyway, Lockjaw Saga famously got overplayed, the Grant Kirkhope rendition of it in Donkey Kong Land 2. But it's an excellent piece. It was kind of revived as a motif in Tropical Freeze. Even though there was no Lockjaw in that game. David Wise still brought it back. It was great to hear. I love how like Dixie swims versus Diddy. Lots of little touches. So that you know, none of the characters just feel like palette swaps or carbon copies of each other. Dixie does the breaststroke. Diddy, you know, swims doggy style or doggy paddle, not doggy style. Doggy style is a form of sex, sexual intercourse. Where's Diddy's face? On. Here we go. Nope. Damn it, now I got flotsamed. Well, that's just annoying. Gotta get those bananas. Just drive me crazy. Diddy is the superior swimmer, though. Just, I know a lot of people don't care because Dixie is a lot more fun to play as. Which, you know, I agree she is. I love Dixie. Those are Lockjaws, the Jay Leno-looking piranhas. Oh, and here's Engard. I'm just completely ignoring that Engard's back. Engard now has the Super Stab move. Like that. And like this. So, yeah, Engard now basically functions... He's basically the underwater Rambi, which I never understood the rationale that Retro didn't need to put Engard in Tropical Freeze because the Kongs could attack underwater. I'm like, well, the Kongs can attack on land and Rambi's still in the game, so what the hell? Anyway. Engard is amazing. And he makes underwater levels, which can be a slog, he makes them a joy, right? It's fun to play with Engard. It's fun to ride him, it's fun to transform into him. So, if you have a Donkey Kong game with underwater levels and you don't have Engard, or at least an equivalent of Engard, what are you doing? What are you doing? I love Tropical Freeze, don't get me wrong. Aw, man, he is beached. There's nothing we can do for him. Nope, got it. Got it. Come on, Engard. There we go. It's almost a grisly end for our friend Engard. Why wasn't he in Tropical Freeze? Well, he died. He died in Lockjaw's locker. Remember? So much great. Oh, those are Shuri's, not Black Panther's anti-vax sister, the starfish baddies. And there's Engard again. Usually, if you lose Engard in the first half of a level, you get him back. There's pockets of banana coins you just have to get. Well, I love the way the water, like, tricks you. It looks 3D. And even like look at the way the background kind of scrolls up here. It makes it look like a 3D environment. Just the trick of the brain there, like. But it's effective. It's so effective. Nope. There we go. Oh, fuck. No! No! I can't believe I screwed that up. That's just not acceptable. Oh, come on. Come on. No. No, I refuse to acknowledge that I screwed that up. I'm gonna blame everybody but me. Okay, no. No, I don't think it's happening. There's got to be a way. Come on. There we go. So that's not how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to supercharge and then just glide through, get up there. Oh well, I got it. I got the hero coin, that's all that matters. I'm not gonna hit the banana coin, am I? Ah, I missed it. Alright, got everything there. I'll save in a little bit. Let's go see Swanky. Swanky's bonus Bonanza. So the question, right, is who is Swanky? Like, not what makes him tick, because what makes him tick is sex and cheap cologne. But what relation does Swanky have to the rest of the Kong family? Funky was Donkey Kong's best friend. Candy is his girlfriend. Cranky is the granddad who raised him as a son. Wrinkly is the grandmother who raised him as a son. But who's Swanky? And DK Vine, I mean, early on, I posited that Swanky could be Donkey Kong's brother. And I'm still kind of attached to that idea. I like that he's the Joe Bluth, the kind of not screw up brother, just the brother who took a different path. And that would also, if you subscribe to the idea that the modern Donkey Kong is an adult Donkey Kong Jr., that would also make Swanky Pink Donkey Kong Jr. from that one game, which I like. I like that idea, but I'm also not married to that idea. If they ever contradicted that, I wouldn't, complain too harshly. Just, oh yeah, okay, well, that wasn't ever gonna last. So, it was Rare's website that established that Swanky lost his game show after the events of this game. Not just because Crocodile Isle blew up, but because there were allegations of favoritism towards Diddy and Dixie, that he was accused of cheating and rigging the bonus Bonanza, and therefore no networks would touch him after that. And that's why he had to resort to going town to town and as a carnival barker. And, it's his cheap and tawdry sideshow, which we saw he was still running as late as the mid-aughts. I think it appeared in the background of the first Mario Sluggers game. So, anyway, you see those vintage now Donkey Kong balloons in the background. My interpretation of the balloons, by the way, because Retro's games famously did away with the head shape. They didn't like head shapes. Retro is not Rare. Somebody at Retro did not like head shapes. And it's, been alleged that it might even be Tanabe himself. But they just made them standard balloons. And so my idea is that the balloons actually take on the visage of the most prominent nearby hero. So Donkey Kong in Donkey Kong Country, that was him. It's now Diddy. It will become Dixie in Donkey Kong Country 3. Donkey Kong Land 3, I think the presence of Diddy balloons means that Diddy is nearby in his quest with Donkey to find the Lost World before everyone else. So it would maybe override Dixie's balloons. And then by the time we get to Tropical Freeze, they're all on equal footing. They're all established video game heroes with each other, and so they don't take on anybody's head shape. They just stay neutral. It's stupid. It's a stupid theory, but that's how I rationalize it. All right, Swanky Swag. Let's do this. Wonky and Stinky. I'm surprised there hasn't been a Wonky Kong like the Wario to Donkey Kong. A Stinky Kong, if Rare had stayed with the series and they continued pumping out games up through the modern day, we would have eventually had a Stinky Kong for sure. Was the first enemy that you see in the game. A furry rat, a scaly crocodile, and an ugly earthworm. So there are so many slams to the Earthworm Jim franchise in this game. And that comes from, I think, there was an Easter egg, there was a cheat or something in the first Earthworm Jim game, or one of the Earthworm Jim games, that came out after Donkey Kong Country, where he took on the visage of Donkey Kong, but with an arrow through his head. And I think there was, I don't know, this was their way to get back at Earthworm Jim. And not the only time, too. There was Wrinkly's, the book she's reading from, has a recipe for, I think, earthworm pie, or something, and just basically going on about how nobody likes earthworms. And then, of course, at the end of the game, you'll see a more blatant slam. Gangway garbage. Gangland Galleon. Jeez, Gangland Galleon. Alright, let's keep doing this. What button do you press to run? And this was on the Super Nintendo, so, B. No, that wasn't. Fuck me. Alright. No, it was, Y. Yeah, that's what I meant. What is the name of the first level in the game? Pirate Picnic. It's amazing how many people read it as Pirate Picnic. Pirate Panic. I guess when you're young, you see the word picnic a lot more than panic because the existential crisis of being an adult never really, like, hits home until you leave school, so... What is the name of the enemy boss who's kidnapped Donkey Kong? There's our first crap reference in a DKU game. Captain K Rap, Corporal K Reap, or Captain K Rule. Chimp Challenge. In the first level of the game, how many windows did the captain's cabin have? This is one of those cheap, is it 4 or was it 2 or 4? I want to say 4. Yeah. What is the name of the first rigging level? Main Brace Mayhem. And kids everywhere ask, what is rigging? Which of these is not a background object in the captain's cabin? You should have paid attention to the captain's cabin. But the answer, luckily, I spent a lot of time poring over the details there. The answer is a gun. And then once you clear all of Swanky's quizzes, that's it. This studio serves no purpose until you get to the next one. In the live stream, the first rigging level is Swanky's bonus Bonanza. That's funny. And then Sean, No Song for Spider, says that moment you realize there hasn't been a new Kong since 2004. I mean, I guess you're referring to Jungle Beat. There were the Hurley monkeys in Barrel Blast. They're not referred to as Kongs, and they're drones. But yeah, so I know what you mean. 2004, 2005, depending on when you view the release date of Jungle Beat's being. Yeah, you know, we would have had... No, because Redneck Kong would have predated that had the game came out as intended. So, yeah. Yeah, there's been only dubious Kongs, like Pepito. But, you know, we have enough Kongs at home that we never use, so... Alright, so here is the introduction of Winky's replacement, Radley. And there's a vicious debate. There, you know, like... This is Radley's special move. He can jump really high. You know, people who love Winky... A lot of people who love Winky hate Radley. And then there are people who are like, well, Winky played for shit. I much prefer Radley. I love them both, you know? I understand why they switched out Winky, because... his design didn't really work for what you're trying to do. I think that's the warp barrel up there. I'm gonna be doing this for the first 2 worlds, aren't I? I like the idea of Winky more, but I definitely enjoy playing as Radley more. And there's a bonus barrel. I don't think there's an animal buddy I dislike, right? Even when you have like a 1-to-1 replacement, like Radley replaces Winky, or arguably Hoofer replaces Rambi in Jungle Beat, I still really like Hoofer. I just really like Radley. So. So you can see they did leave hooks in case you had lost Radley. By this point, they don't make it impossible to traverse. And in fact, you're missing out on stuff like, what's in the treasure chest? Well, I'm riding a snake. I can't find out. It's just so satisfying to jump on a muscle-bound Kremlin with a little snake tail. But here we lose Rally. Don't worry, Rally will have much larger, broader showcases to come. I didn't really, haven't touched upon Zingers yet. Zingers are back. They were in Donkey Kong Land 2, but, and Donkey Kong Land 2. But, they're here in, Country 2. I think this is the game that really established them as iconic baddies. You know, they're affiliated with the Kremlin crew. So, you know, it's weird to say they're the most iconic Donkey Kong baddie after the Kremlins because they are part of the Kremlin crew. They're from Crocodile Isle. But you know what I mean. Like, if it's not just the humanoid crocodiles, then Zingers are what most people remember. Oh no. Let's see if I can... Okay. And there's a lot of set pieces to come, especially when we visit the Zinger hives that really, like, put them over the top. Let me get Dixie back first, and then I'll jump up here. Which I think, like, the complete exclusion of any classic enemies in things like Retro's games really baffle some people because, like, well, you couldn't even put Zingers in them? I can see if you're not going to have Kremlins to not have Zingers because they're so associated with each other. But yeah, it's... Just the whole, like, wasp-honeybee hybrid idea... You're able to have so many possibilities from that because like the wasp / hornet, like nightmare plus like the imagery of there's the hero coin, honey dripping hives. Well, fuck. All right. Well, there's my first death of the game. Wow, she fell far. Like, that... No wonder she's crying. That, like, broke every bone in her body. Also point out, since I've been pointing out differences between the E3 95 demo and the final game, originally, this was going to be much darker. Like, it was more... obviously at nighttime. I think this is supposed to be night or maybe early morning, but it was just like pitch black with clouds and the rain was a lot more torrential. Not sure why they changed it other than wanting Cog. Maybe to make it more visible or just to have different color schemes. I don't know. So, Funky's Flights 2. So, Funky has opened up a new branch of Funky's Flights on Crocodile Isle. And you can't really make it out here, but the airport itself is a giant floating surfboard. He's on a floating surfboard. The airport itself is designed to be a giant floating surfboard. That's really not clear until the Game Boy Advance remake, where we kind of zoom out a bit and we see it. We also see it on the map, I think. So, yeah. You see there's the other board from Donkey Kong Country. I guess he had more than one, but that's up there. I'm pointing. You can't see me. I'm not on camera. But it's right up there on the, like, the roof there. You've got the old barrel plane kind of scuttled in the background there, and a beach ball, and just this music. I was obsessed with this music in 1995 because it was so over the top. It was so hilarious that I remember recording it on a recordable cassette. Right, just so I could take it around with me and listen to it. And I remember holiday season 1995, like going shopping with my parents or my mom, and like listening to this on headphones in the car, and just like being like, yeah, Funky, that's a fun character. Of course, this flying surfboard or floating, levitating, whatever surfboard that he's got here, that would actually be utilized, or a version of it will be utilized in new Funky mode in Tropical Freeze. So Funky, this is a new branch of his business. He is expanding. He does charge you coins, but only the first time you hire it. So this plane will be able to be used by the Kongs for the rest of the game from Gangplank Galleon. You'll have to rent them from the other branches of Funky's flights too. And you can see we've got all the bonuses and hero coins in Gangplank Galleon, or on Gangplank Galleon, which leaves the boss. And let me see. So that is supposed to be a skull with red eyes that's like chattering. But it's so hard to make out, and for the longest time I thought it was, because the first boss is a bird, I thought that was supposed to be a bird with like spiky blonde hair. I didn't know what it was. It looks weird. It's supposed to be like a skull like you see on a regular Skull and Crossbones. But yeah, it's just like, what the hell is that? Crow's nest. Now, crow is not a crow. Crow is a neki, which is a type of vulture. So it's a couple degrees removed from an actual crow, but you get the pun then, because he's not named after the bird. He's named after the nest, which I guess is named after the bird. You keeping up? You keeping up at home? It's not a neki skull. I don't think it's a neki skull. I mean, it would be something if they would like make skulls based on every boss, but it would change. Like you would get, well, I guess Cleaver has a skull design on him, but then you'd have like a Kremlin skull for Cudgel, and I don't even know what a bee skull would be. That's not a thing, right? What? No, because they have exoskeletons. Yeah. So yeah, it falls apart then. And then what? A ghost skull? Well, I guess that's a thing in CFD. Anyway, sorry, we're getting sidetracked. And then what would the non-boss fight in K-Roll's Keep be? Donkey Kong's skull? I don't know. Crow's Nest. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. And yeah, that's where you get the comic eye-popping effect that less prevalent in this game because there's no idle animation for it, but gotta get those. Ugh. All right, whatever. Don't need her. Okay, you didn't drop the eggs. Something went wrong there. Well, let's just do it again. Anyway, I showed you the bonus, not bonus coins, the banana coins up there. Not a form of crypto. I guess it is a form of crypto now, but it's in this game first, so fuck off. Also, we had monkeys in hats first, too. So fuck off, NFTs. Alright, so, yeah. Now, already, the boss fights are more varied in this game than they were in Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Land had better boss fights than Donkey Kong Country 1. Sans, you know, the last K-Roll fight, which was the only halfway decent boss fight in that game. And he's dead. Well, he's not dead. He's dying right now. The Game Boy Advance remake would add his ghost actually leaving his body as it quivers. So he is dead. He's died. His spirit has departed his body. So, anyway. And, yeah, that's Gangplank Galleon, the first world. Really quick, I just want to point out a couple things before we move on. Actually, I do want to go by the rest of Cranky's advice, but the general shape of the Gangplank Galleon has stayed consistent. I mean, it's different in Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Land, but the Kremlin Skull and Bones, the Kremlin Jolly Roger on the sails there, that was faintly visible in Donkey Kong Country 1. And I think the figurehead was too. You can't see the figurehead or the Jolly Roger in Donkey Kong Land, but yeah, if you look and like zoom in on the Gangplank Galleon in the first game, you can make those out. So He's complaining that they've taken his chair from him, and he's just... Yeah, but you're bouncing around on your cane in Tropical Freeze, Cranky. A hook, step, and jump is all you need to look for near the 2 dragonflies above you. Which references something I already did, but... You know, there's no repeating advice here in this game. Just repeating insults. There's no stick to the treetops in jungle hijinks or anything like that. I'm off to spend my tokens. It's weird he calls them tokens when they are the main currency of Donkey Kong Island. And let's go to Wrinkly. Rambi Supercharge. Weird that Supercharge is a proper noun. Yeah, so it does count towards your percentage if you have to visit every Kong helper at least once, and maybe I don't know if you have to buy like a service from them, but that will add 1% to your overall score. So if you don't, like if you never visit Cranky, you cannot have 102%. I guess it's not really needed to technically beat the game, but if you care about having the highest percentage possible, then sure, you need to do that. Andre points out, it's weird that the signs in the Monkey Museum are in dollars and not pounds. It's not... so this was the stage where Rare really did Americanize everything. I say Americanize is a broad term. They clearly like were trying to make something that wasn't overtly British, and it just shows the time how less global things were, that even a studio in the UK, if they were making a game that was international, they're like, well, let's prioritize the American market because like, it's bigger, you know. And nowadays you have both Rare and Playtonic just embracing the fact that they are British, that they are in the UK. They have the spelling and everything. They don't adjust any of it. And so my thinking is that the Kongs use an American form of English, and elsewhere, like Willow Woods, you know, the Panther Kingdom, they are more on a rest of the world standard when it comes to their English. So, all right, Crocodile Cauldron. So here is the lava world. Donkey Kong Country did not have a lava world, although at one point I think what became Chimp Caverns was supposed to be the lava world. But I like that Donkey Kong Country didn't go for the trope that Mario established of, hey, let's have the last world be a scary volcano. Returns did it, whatever, but early on here, when the series was just getting established, I like that it bucked that trend, and I like that it also continued to buck the trends by having the second world be what would be World 8 in a Mario game, right? Also, just check out, before the map screen becomes cluttered up with all the character heads, just look at that image of the volcano, of the light coming off of it, and the little detail of the pirate ship that's beached in the magma. Like, the sails have burned off. The sails have completely burned off. But, the hull and some of the mast are still intact. So, right from the start here, see, it's charred, so it blends in, but there is a treasure chest. And that... Oh, and there we got clobbers. Clobbers are more prevalent going forward here. I can dispatch the clobber, though. And there's the K. Crockheads, which, aside from Claptrap and Clamp-Ons, I would say, actually, more than Claptraps and Clamp-Ons and Crimps, Crockheads are the most crocodilian Kremlings, like, not as humanoid. I assume they still have a degree of human-like intelligence, You know, claptraps are sort of portrayed as dogs, though, so it's not clear how intelligent they are, but anyway, they're just like crocodiles, except they can withstand a massive amount of heat. They can just wade in magma, and it's fine. The brown ones, or red ones, depending on how you view them, apparently. Because people argue about this. Are they brown or are they red? I think maybe they're supposed to be red, but they look brown when contrasted with the bright orange and red magma. Like, let's talk about clamp-ons. So clamp-ons, they're not claptraps. They are like an evolved form of claptraps. I love them. I love the way they look. They're just so over the top. I like that they replaced most of the baddies from Donkey Kong Country with new versions, enhanced versions, and zingers and mini neckies were the only ones they brought back. Like, they didn't even bring back regular neckies. They were just mini neckies, which something about that I found delightful in 95. Like, because it's the more complicated thing, right? Like, you have to denote that they're mini neckies, but they're the only ones in the game. I love that. Alright, so this is a bit more complicated, but it's not hard. It's just you're introduced to this and you're like, oh my god, I have to jump across the croc heads. It's not hard at all, but actually the rigging was harder. And here we go, my favorite animal buddy, Squitter. Now, Squitter is fantastic, and I won't hear otherwise. He can shoot web projectiles right there, or he can create web platforms, like so. And the ability to create platforms in a platform game is such a brilliant notion that I don't know why it doesn't get lauded more. When everybody goes on about brilliant game design, a lot of people in like the more academic areas of game history, studying game, and look, you can also like just create a web platform underneath Squitter or like right next to him, or you can shoot it out as like a glob, a ball of webbing. He's just so versatile. It's just amazing. Anyway, the Donkey Kong Country games don't get enough credit, right? And I think a large part of that was because there were a lot of incorrect notions about, well, you can't like Donkey Kong Country and be a serious academic gamer because Miyamoto didn't like Donkey Kong Country, which isn't even true. But, you know, there's this idea that Nintendo made the purest platformers and Rare was just making games that looked pretty and sounded good, but were like kind of rubbish. Basically taking Cranky Kong spiels as verbatim truth. And so because of that, Squitter just gets overlooked. It's just like, I think it's just absolutely ingenious. And granted, you know, I'm biased because this is my favorite game of all time. But it's just a giant spider in sneakers. That cool-ass spider in the sneakers from Donkey Kong Country 2. As the Facebook page labeled him. If I were to get you to decide which animal buddies appeared in the next Donkey Kong game, Squitter would be at the top of the list. Like, obviously, you know, Rambi, right? I would have Rambi, Ingard, Squawks, and then Squitter. He'd be at the top of my list, but, you know, I would know to include the main three, I think. Oh, I gotta say goodbye to Squitter. Squitter is and Radley and Clapper and Glimmer, they are native to Crocodile Isle, but they are not Kremlings, which is an important distinction. They were not evolved by the Kremlin source energy to become something that they weren't. They're just natural as you can be, giant snakes and spiders and whatnot. So anyway, and then they moved back to Donkey. They moved to Donkey Kong Island after Crocodile Isle's destroyed, and they acclimate with the life in the Congo jungle or wherever they settle down. So here's Clubba. We're gonna visit Clubba, but we're not gonna be able to do anything with Clubba yet because we only have 14 Krem coins. Now hear this, landlubbers. Me name is Clubba, and to cross me bridge is gonna cost your many pieces 08. I don't think they were terribly consistent with the Pyre Dog. And if yours don't pay up, I'll run your through like the scurvy dogs ye are. Har. It costs 15 Krem coins to cross over, mateys. I don't have 15 Krem coins. Now I could say pay up 15 Krem coins. You'll have to find me more than that to pass. Wow, they're just really abusing that apostrophe. Holy shit. I can't keep up. I can't keep up with reading that aloud because it's just gibberish. Let me point out the scenery here though. So we got the golden barrel that actually warps you to the Kremlin Lost World. Spoilers. So the whole notion of it being a bridge is kind of just an aesthetic place setting, but it actually that's not the Lost World to the right. That dingy green lit burned out forest is not the Lost World. It's just aesthetical shorthand, right? The Lost World is accessed from that barrel. It warps you deep beneath Crocodile Isle into the cavern that actually is the Lost World. Just want to point that out. But also the Diddy boxing, what do you call it? Boxing I don't punch things, so I don't know what they're called. The boxing mat, the boxing bag, the punching bag, whatever. Punching bag, I think that's what they're called. Fuck. Oh my god, is this early onset Alzheimer's? Anyway, I just like the little detail that Clubba... That will probably be provided by K. Rool, right? I need you to stay angry. This is your enemy. And of course, Clubba, he's hostile to the Kongs, but later throughout the game, you're going to get him dropping some dialogue that suggests that he's actually questioning his role in all of this. He's questioning K. Rool's leadership, which, K. Rool's leadership eventually, disastrously leads the Kremlin crew to, not just the Kremlin crew, which is kind of the military organization, but the Kremlins as a whole, to near extinction. They lose their homeland, they lose their people, they're splintered, and that was K. Rool's leadership. That's where they got them. And Club is kind of sniffing that out before it all happens. And he's kind of like, you know what? I don't know if I agree with Captain K. Rool. I don't really like the Kongs, but I'm not sure if K. Rool is the person to lead us to the promised land. So you could also just run away, which is the sensible thing, or you could fight him. Like, maybe we'll turn this into a boss fight. Like, if this is the first time you're playing the game, you're thinking, okay, I don't have the Krem coins, but maybe if I fight him and beat him, I don't need the Krem coins. No. You have no choice in the matter. But just the fact that that's a dialogue option, that they put that in there, it shows that degree of extra thinking that Rare has always done. Right? Like, you don't need that there. It's unnecessary, but we're going to put it in there because it's funny and it's context. Because why wouldn't Diddy and Dixie think, hey, let's just fight him? We fight other Kremlins. Why don't we just fight him? And that's that level of clever world building that goes, I think, against the grain of the Nintendo philosophy of doing it. Game design 101. Not everything has to be distilled down to an academic science. Sometimes you can just do things that aren't necessary or convey things in a way that aren't technically, the most efficient, clean way of doing things. And it makes you love the game even more. And that's what I argue the Donkey Kong Country games always do so well. At least the first three. Retro did, I think, design Returns with a lot more of that sensibility, that Nintendo sensibility, to its detriment. And then they dialed it back in Tropical Freeze and brought back a lot of the aspects that fans love. Or at least made it a lot more colorful, and had a bit more world building in there. So, anyway, that's my lecture done. Let's go see Swanky. And at this point, Swanky knows who they are, and he's just vamping. He's just vamping for the cameras. No wonder people thought he was a fraud and that this whole thing was rigged. Boiler Curfew? What the hell? What kind of name is Boiler Curfew? Alligator Alley. Crocodile Cove. Ten times. That would be the retro version. Lucky Lava. What colors were the crocodile heads you jumped on in the first lava level? Green and brown. So Swanky says they're brown, not red. See? What is an extra lives balloon colored red worth? Five. Alright, and now let's play Gorilla Game. Now, I've got to get this right because I only have 5 banana coins, so I'll have to come back and replay it when I have more banana coins if I screw up something. 10. I know banana math. Level 2. Yeah, hey, Dixie. Hey, Diddy, what's the name of your girlfriend? Man, if he said, like, Trixie right here, Dixie would be like, excuse me, who's Trixie? Who the fuck is Trixie? It's like, Swanky, you have to be more specific. Like, all of my mistresses have ponytails. Cannon's Claim. Ooh, Mine Shaft. Let's do a Mine Shaft. Sorry, I had to take a drink. Talking about Donkey Kong is hard work. Oh, yep. So many people missed that the first time. But so many people also missed this. That is probably the most evil hero coin in the game. It's pretty early too. So I could just throw Diddy in that, but it's just easier to switch back and forth. These Diddy and Dixie barrels. So now we could pay Club up, but I'm gonna wait. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do all the Lost World at the end, or if I'm gonna do it as I go along. So I love that the mines in this game, they have a different feeling. Like there was a more ethereal kind of creepiness to the mines in Donkey Kong Country. And Donkey Kong Country 2, you know, you've got... Oh, shit. Oh, and there's so much to talk about. There's Cannon, which is what Clump becomes in this game. Clumps become cannons. And that's even spelled out in the instruction manual for those who doubt us. It says, it looks like Clump can shoot. There's no reason to hop on that, is there? Yes, there is. Gotta get those banana coins. Anyway, Mighty Melancholy, which is far less melancholy than the tracks in the mines of Donkey Kong Country 1. You know, Eveline Fisher, I love her work in the first game. And I think that that kind of more quiet ambiance really suits the first game well. It really wouldn't work for the vibe of Donkey Kong Country 2, though. And Mighty Melancholy is a, damn it, is a good way of, I think, having sort of a mind level with more of a beat to it. More of a melody. You don't need those mini neckies to get there. I remember the first day I was playing this. So it came out. I got it the day it came out. My mom actually picked it up for me because it was my birthday gift, and I had to wait 2 weeks because it was delayed in the US by 2 weeks. And so I got it the evening it came out. She picked me up from school and had the game waiting for me. I read the instruction manual all night long. I allowed myself to play Pirate Panic. The next day there was a 2-hour delay because it had snowed that night, and so I was taken to my friend Elliot's house, and I was going to go to school with him when school started at 10 a.m. as opposed to 8 a.m. And we played up into Crocodile Cauldron before school started that day, and I was getting nervous because I was like, you know, I think I got over there at 7 a.m. and we were playing till about 9:30 to 9:45 when we had to leave to go to school. And I was like, I don't want to blow through so much of Donkey Kong Country 2. Like, we need to pace ourselves. We need to, you know, there was no DK Vine at the time, but we needed to DK Vine done slow. And, you know, we were already in the second world. Thankfully, this is where everything slowed down dramatically, as you can see, because things got much more difficult here. But yeah, that's fine. It's always Dixie who's falling a great height and smacking the ground. But everything in Canon's Claim really, like, just wowed me back in '95. Like, even things, that zinger always gets me. Even things like the TNT barrels, the way they explode. Look at that. It's a lot cleaner of an explosion than what we saw in Donkey Kong Country 1. Let's just give Dixie a bit of a redemption arc here. I thought cannons were a lot more interesting than just your bog standard clumps, too. I don't know, having this big dude who's firing off cannons from his handheld, or firing off cannonballs from his handheld cannon. Something about that was just delightful to me, especially when we see later, damn it, when, you know, the clumps change orientation and they're shooting downward. Yeah, there we go. Come on, start firing. Alright, well that didn't work. There we go. I love the notion of clump into cannon. This isn't a destroy them all, but you kind of have to destroy them all. Just weird that there's the distinction being made there. I like how you take them both out if you exit the bonus area. Like, it doesn't give you an option. You're taking out some birds. Oh my. Really missed all the letters there. Dre says, school starting at 10 a.m. Well, that was a 2-hour delay, so whenever the roads were bad, but they weren't so bad to close school the whole day, there would be like an hour delay where it started at 9, or a 2-hour delay where it started at 10, giving them either time to clear the roads enough to allow for buses and safe passage, or to just allow the weather to warm up enough where it would just naturally melt. So you would always hope for school to be closed, but a 2-hour delay was also great because that meant you were only in school for 5 hours that day, and you got to do things like play Donkey Kong Country 2 for the first time. Let's rent Funky. Excuse me, hire a plane. Woo! Love that song. I think it's my favorite Funky song. Obviously, the Robin Beanland one from Donkey Kong Country 1, which is a repurposed Killer Instinct sizzle reel track. It's ridiculous in its own right. I love it. But this one, I think, is just... whenever I think of Funky, this is the soundtrack that pops in my head. The Donkey Kong Country 3, like the jazzy number from Donkey Kong Country 3, it's funny in its own right, but it's almost too mellow for Funky. Like that's Funky after the weed kicks in, where this is Funky on like 5 Red Bulls. There wasn't even a Red Bull at the time, but you know what I mean. Sean has a critique to make from what I said, saying they prefer the explosions in Donkey Kong Country 1 more. They say they look too soft. Well, in this game. Well, I mean, I can see that, but they're more bombastic in Donkey Kong Country 1, but I don't know, I think it's a prettier kind of fire in this game. And maybe they toned them down too because of epilepsy concerns. I don't know. Maybe it was just too garish for their sensibilities. All right, let's do Lava Lagoon. It's clapper time, everyone. Clap on, clap off. That's also from the 90s. Remember that? No, if you're young, you don't. All right, so this is where I really think the ingenious logic of the Donkey Kong Country team is on full display, because you don't realize when you're playing this game that you're getting these archetypes reused, and basically level designs, graphical elements are getting reskinned every time. So they hide it well, like the ship, the ship deck levels. Just trying to think what to call it there. Punching bag. The ship deck levels, you go from the first one, which is pretty, and then the second one, which is reused just 2 levels later, has a sunset incorporated in it, and then you're distracted by the sunset, and you're like, ooh, I didn't even realize this was just more of the same. Aesthetically, this is our second ship hull level, and already we're like, wow, okay, so it's a ship hull level, but it's also going to be placed in a second world, so how do we fit the lava aesthetic? And oh, well, the water that's coming in will be superheated from the nearby lava. There's Clapper. Clapper is one of the 2 animal buddies in the game that isn't rideable. He is more of a utility, like Squawks was in the first game, and like Clapper is in this game. But a very useful utility. And just the, like, this is where, like, the realism of Donkey Kong Country gets more exaggerated, right? Like, a seal can super cool the water to either reduce the scalding temperatures or... got it. Or to, freeze it if it's colder. Yeah, I mean, that's not something that's natural. That's kind of stupid, but it's fine. It stretches believability, credulity just enough where I can't be upset about it. Damn it. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Sorry, Dixie. You're getting the worst end of it for my missteps. My foibles. It's going to be even worse when I play Donkey Kong Country 3 on stream. 'Cause that game I don't know like as well as I do Country 2, and I love it. You know, I'm not somebody who dislikes Donkey Kong Country 2, or Donkey Kong Country 3. You know, I absolutely love that game, but it's a lot more, you know, gimmicky is the right word to use, but it has negative connotations. I don't want you to think I'm like shit talking Donkey Kong Country 3. It really sets itself apart by having shit. Completely missed in guard too. Well, fuck me. Alright. We're gonna do that at least. Anyway, but it's as a result of the way the game is structured, I think it's harder for me to memorize it as extensively as I do. Fuck! Are you kidding me? Well, at least I know... I can get back there. Anyway, there's more of a natural flow to Donkey Kong Country 2. And I think it's easier to remember most things, not everything. Clearly, I'm struggling with some of these shiphole levels, like the nooks and crannies, and I missed the hero coin in Gangplank Galley, but you know, by and large, I feel very familiar with this game, where Country 3 still kind of befuddles me from time to time. Which isn't a bad thing, it's just when I purport myself to be the expert of Donkey Kong, and then I look like a damn fool on stream, well, then I question my life choices. These bananas are deceptive, because I'm like, I want to get that banana, but then what happens? Well... yeah, okay. I was trying to repeat the puffed up, because there are puffed ups later on in the game that like get into place and then they just stay there, and you're like, oh damn, they're blocking my path. By the way, let's talk about puffed ups really quick. So puffed ups were planned for Donkey Kong Country 1, and they were scrapped batty, but they have been like there's nothing up there, is there? They have been found in the game's code or whatever. I don't know how it works. I don't know how these people do it with their science. But they brought back puffed up. They're like, yeah, we want to use that. That was a good idea. Let's use puffed up. And then, much to the chagrin, oh shit. That barrel just went right through the click-clack, and now the click-clack is pissed. Yeah, they get faster every time you knock them over and then let themselves get right side up again. I forgot that little detail. Wow. Anyway, puffed ups are like pufferfish, blowfish. I always forget the difference. And Retro in Tropical Freeze introduced a pufferfish enemy called Puffed Up with 2 F's, right? Let's get this so I can get this. Yeah. I always forget it's that late in the level. I'm like, oh no, I missed the hero coin. It's like, no, the hero coin. Hero coin's gonna be there. I just knocked out that clobber. I want it. That's not very satisfying when you knock out a clobber that way. Got my hero coin. Anyway, so people are like, I can't believe Retro didn't realize there was already a baddie named Puffed Up in Donkey Kong. And then they had a very similar sounding enemy, just spelled differently, that's also a pufferfish. And yeah, but Rare also didn't realize that there was an enemy called Snapjaw in Donkey Kong Jr. when they had the advanced form of Lockjaw in this game. They called it Snapjaw. Well, there's already a Snapjaw. They're little wind-up mechanical things in Donkey Kong Jr., later the Mario versus Donkey Kong series. So, I mean, it's kind of a tradition at this point, right, for the Donkey Kong games to have, when they go from developer to developer, to have an enemy that's named after another enemy, but that's not the same enemy. And at least with Puffed Up, we can rationalize the way that Puffed Ups are the natural form of the pufferfish. And then when they're exposed to the Kremling source energies deep beneath Crocodile Isle, they then evolve into the Puffed Ups from this game, and Donkey Kong Land, and Donkey Kong 64. So, it's not the end of the world. It's not a canon-breaking thing, although I'm sure Mario Wiki would appreciate not having to, have a disambiguation page or whatever. He complains a little. Yeah, putting it mildly. Already at 22%. That doesn't seem right. Squitter's web platform. Cool, thanks. Creme coins. Collect a lot and you can use them at Clubba's kiosk. But for what? When you hit Cleaver, quickly get across the other side before he gets angry. Okay, thanks. Be careful now, Kongs. Sean says that the Tropical Freeze enemy is probably a deliberate reference. They knew most of the stuff, they just didn't or couldn't use it. I don't know. I mean, it might be a deliberate reference, but it just seems weird to me to have a deliberate reference that's not portrayed as a deliberate reference. It's just like, hey, here's something that we hope fans will take to be a tribute and not a massive mistake. I don't know. It sounds like I'm shit talking Retro, and I love Retro. I love what they did to the series. I love Returns, and I adore Tropical Freeze. So don't think I have any serious issues with that. It just, they'll come up especially when I'm saying what this game does, right? Because this is still my favorite Donkey Kong Country game. I still like it more than Tropical Freeze. It's still my favorite game of all time, and part of that is nostalgia, but also part of that is I just think it's the perfect sequel. I think this is everything you'd want a sequel to be. It gives you more of that original experience, but it doesn't just repeat itself. It expands the world of the original. It makes you more invested in that game's world. It makes you want even more. So here we have the yellow clobbers. And yellow clobbers, they're the first clobber that can rob you of some of your collected items. In this case, bananas. People hate Red Hot Ride. Purely because this is, I think it's maybe because, speedrunning is such a huge part of the culture, and speedrunners would, of course, hate anything that makes you stationary and, holds you up to the whims of the level itself. I don't have an issue with it. I'm not a speedrunner. I can see how it could be irksome, but it's pretty. I always have to check here, even though I know there's not a bonus stage there. It's like, well, maybe this time there will be. I don't know. Rampy's Supercharge doesn't get utilized enough. I feel like sometime like around the later areas of the game, they've just lose interest in having bonus areas access through like secret holes in the wall, which I felt like was such an iconic part of Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Land. And then I think it just completely eliminated by the time you get to Country 3, but maybe even Land 2 just does away with it. But something that Retro did bring back in some small way. But yeah, just breaking through environments and finding hidden rooms. That's so quintessentially Donkey Kong Country to me. Oh my god. Oh, well, that's one reason people hate this. It's surprisingly hard to balance on a hot air balloon while riding a rhinoceros. Fair. Fair point, everyone. Just check out the foreground there, though. Like that purplish... it almost looks like slime on the volcanic rock. It's a very pretty game. And, like, I believe in Crocodile Isle, right? Like, I believe these environments could plausibly exist, even though they're on the most extreme end of the fantastical while still remaining, you know, plausibly of our Earth. You know, maybe the brambles... No, even the brambles work fine in that regard. But it's why I love the Donkey Kong games, because it seems like it's a celebration of nature, like actual nature. They're not just completely fantastical settings until, you know, you get to maybe like the Golden Temple realm and Returns or what have you, but and yeah, I guess this, like, being this close to lava would burn up a rhino and 2 monkeys, not to mention the bees. But all right, well, fine, I don't need any of you. Fine, I don't need you. Whatever. I'll just do this with Diddy. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, damn it. You know, oh, I think I need Rambi there. Well, fine. Let's make them both angry. Hulk out. Oh, and he immediately calmed down as soon as he killed Diddy. It's like... That's all he needed. He would just need to commit a little murder, a little light murder, and he'd be happy again. This is one of Greg Mail's classic post-it note ideas of what if we, like, traverse the stage on balloons, and there's like jets of steam coming up that like fill the balloon. All right, let's see if I can actually get through this without dying. If this was actually you, if you were riding a rhino and you were on a balloon that's rapidly deflating over a sea of magma, and there were killer bees flying in front of your face, like giant, enormous murder bees bigger than your entire body, how would you feel? Like, I think they're keeping it remarkably together, all things considered. Also, Dixie just kind of keeping along if in midair. It's one area where, you know, the retro games were able to improve. There we go. By having both Kongs ride Rambi. Not sure why they couldn't animate that back in the day. It's probably one of those things they just couldn't pull off, right? So, whatever. It was 1995. It's fine. Just use your imagination in this regard. Get rid of you two. Ah, alright. Oh, and we just get a little bunch of bananas. That's all we got from that. Oh, you see that? You see that down there? See that little banana? See that little banana? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a collect the stars on the balloon. Okay, I don't need to. I'm overthinking it. I mean, they're very generous with the time. I've been playing Donkey Kong Land 2 a little bit recently, and that's something I found is that they're far less generous with their time in Donkey Kong Land 2's bonus areas than they are in Country 2. However, the version of Red Hot Ride in Donkey Kong Land 2, it might control better. It might be one area where it's like they tweaked it or they improved on it. Oh, damn it. Is that the one with the hero coin, or is the hero coin... I think the hero coins. Yep. Fuck. Well, it's fine, because I have to get the hero coin, and I would rather die than miss the hero coin and complete the level. At least I got all the bonuses. I know that much. It just, keep going. All right. There we go. That's how it's done. Well, no, how it's done is not dying to begin with, but you know what I mean. Let's see if I can get this. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. R.I.P. Meatloaf. At some point, you just know when it's going to be a clobber, and a good tell is when the barrel is towards the end of a platform or a piece of land. If it's in the middle, generally it won't be clobber, because they have to give it enough time to spring to life and run towards you, right? And so if a barrel is like over here, probably not a clobber. Probably not. If it's right there, maybe a clobber. If it's over there, definitely a clobber. So that's a little pro tip you won't get from the experts in Nintendo Power. That's all. You're only going to get that from DK Vine. Damn it. But then, you know, also avoid the zingers. That's another pro tip. That's more common, though. More people will tell you to avoid the zingers. Yeah, now's not the time to drink your soda or your juice box, or nobody can really agree what she's drinking there. Looks like a bottle to some, looks like a juice box to others. Also, like, are you taking out your gum? Are you drinking that with gum in your mouth? Because ew. Let's check in the time here. So I started about a quarter after, thanks to my rampant technical difficulties. Thanks for tuning in anyway. Let's... Because Squawk Shaft, it's a pretty big shaft, if you know what I mean. And I really want to grab hold of just all the bits in that shaft. The joke fell apart there. But I feel like Squawk Shaft would be a good way to start next time. So we'll have enough time to visit Cranky and see what insults he has to give. And then I think we'll start the next stream next week with Squawk Shaft. I was unclear, like maybe I'll get through the second world this time, but I spent so much time on the fucking title screen alone that, nah, it's never gonna happen. DK Vine done slow, it's fine. So that's actually a clue. That's 2 clues in one right there. He says he's complaining that K. Rool will have 2. And so that's a little foreshadowing that K. Rool, you'll fight him twice. And it also hints towards Cranky's video game hero screen, which when you first see him in the video game hero room, he will remark that he finally got his second screen. So it pays off. And then he's complaining about, where's Espresso? Cranky's love of Winky and Espresso is carried through to the Donkey Kong 64 instruction manual when he's still complaining that they got rid of Winky and Espresso. I love the, not even cross-game continuity, but cross-media continuity from the instruction manuals into the games and back again. I could spend a whole conversation on just one of Cranky's lines in this game. It's just it's too much, and then I start talking about it, and I'm missing everything else that comes up. Let's just hear what he has to say. Below the first seal, you'll find something worth getting your fur burnt for. So that line makes people think that there are multiple clappers. And I think that's just a clumsy way of phrasing it. I think there's only one clapper. Obviously, there are multiple seals, and we meet some in Donkey Kong 64, but that's not Clapper. Clapper is a good boy. He's not a salty talking pirate that we race in Donkey Kong 64. Is it my eyes, or is there just one chest at the start? He's trying to point you towards the burnt chest. Like, is it? My old eyes say there's only one chest, but because I'm old and irrelevant, you might want to investigate that. Take it easy. Let the rhino use his head to get you through the first half. It's not even like a pun. It's not even like a parable. It's not even a clue. He's just saying, you'll get Rambi, and Rambi will help get you through. Alright. A trek towards the clobber with the spider is worth looking up. You get a lot of that. A lot of, like, looking up to tell you when you have secrets hidden above you. Cannon's claim. Right is right at the start. So that's the clue to tell you that the hero coin, the notoriously hidden hero coin, one of the only, I think the only hero coin hidden in a bonus stage that has a creme coin as the prize. But right is right at the start. Like, he's using right 3 times, so I think that's supposed to clue you in that you're still supposed to go right even when in the bonus stage. But that's getting into the territory of the bonus stage hidden in the bonus stage in Donkey Kong Country that everybody rants about. So Squawk Shaft, this will be the one clue that might do us some good, because we actually haven't played Squawk Shaft yet. Those two hook-throwing villains opposite each other are protecting something. I'm sure of it. Okay. So when crooks are introduced, we will have to investigate that. So let's leave the museum. I'm off to spend my token. He said that every time now. I want to hear him say one more thing. I'm sorry. Tokens. Always about these tokens. And got holes in your pockets? Yeah, I don't wear pants. Dipshit. Where are your pockets? You don't wear pants either. All right. What is he going to say? I don't want to help you too much. All right. Cranky gets very nasty at other points in the game, and I really wanted him to, like, have a nuclear barb, but he doesn't have any for us, so let's save our game. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. This is the premiere edition of DK Vine done slow. Donkey Kong Country 2. So, weirdly, so it counts my gameplay as 58 minutes, but I've been streaming for like 2 hours, so it doesn't factor in, I guess, all the ambient time spent on map screens or whatever. So, wow, have I really wasted that much time on this stream? That's impressive. Yeah, I'll be back here next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. GMT. And don't forget to tune back in to the Twitch channel on Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. GMT. If you like rare pirates, you'll see more of that as it's DK Vine's Stream of Thieves. Cameron and I have to get to level 100 before the season's over, and we're both around level 95. So it'll be a race with only 2 weeks left, assuming the servers work. I have to add that every time I talk about it now. I think the Idaho crew will be back next Tuesday. They took a break this week, but the Idaho crew, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and 1 a.m. Wednesday GMT. They stream random games either throughout the Donkey Kong universe or that have some sort of tangential relationship to the DKU. And if they don't, sometimes they make some sort of connection, like creating Donkey Kong characters in a game that allows you to create a character. So they have fun. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will be back next Wednesday as we finish off Crocodile Cauldron and head into the swamp. Cue the Phil Collins music. Well, actually, don't cue it, because then Twitch will have a strike against us. So we'll keep it as copyright free as possible. Thanks, everyone.